Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you've got Darren Little here with the Success Vortex, and welcome to this exclusive and private VIP interview with a seven-figure income earner, Mr. Tom Cellie. And guys, on this particular interview, what I'm going to touch base on today is really getting into the depths of your subconscious mind. How is it that our subconscious mind is actually what is steering the ship? And what's really great about this is that it doesn't matter how far up the success line you are. One of the things that peak performers and top income earners will always tell you is that they're always learning, they're always growing, they're always working on their personal development. One of the things I learned from Anthony Robbins was that you're either growing or you're sliding. There is no in between. And it's important for you to know this. It doesn't matter what level of success that you're at. Peak performers are always working on themselves. They're always looking for cutting edge strategies to take their lives to the next level. So Tom Cellie, welcome to the call.
Well, thanks for having me, man. Glad to be here.
Fantastic. You know, Tom, maybe you can just share with the viewers just a little snapshot about your background. Where did you come from, and what was your life? What was going on in your life prior to going to the training and having your personal breakthrough with subconscious mind tapping?
Well, I've been in the industry, network marketing and consulting for about 17 years. I've been a consultant for about 14 years, and my background prior to getting into the industry was music. So the creativeness of doing multimedia was what kind of got me into the industry. I became a voiceover guy and a video guy and website graphics guy, you name it. I did all that stuff, and I built marketing systems and I built software, and lo and behold, the opportunity to work with you made itself available. I really wasn't looking for an opportunity, but I had been, knowing you a couple of years on Facebook, maybe a little bit more than a couple of years, and seeing all your amazing content and seeing all your documentation of your marketing campaigns. And when the opportunity presented itself, I was like, I always knew I was going to work with Darren Little. So when the opportunity presented itself, I said, man, because you were saying things, Darren, that I hadn't heard many people, if any, saying, at least not in our industry, in the circles that I ran in. And I've been running with some, seven-figure income earners for quite a while now. And the subconscious mind tapping stuff was just a subject that I wasn't hearing a lot about, and it was something I wanted to learn more of. So lo and behold, it was a twofold thing. It was my admiration and respect for you as a professional, all of your incredible content, just the way that I feel when I interact with you, right? Because you're such a positive person, it always gives me a charge. So I always knew eventually sometime down the road, I'm going to be working with that guy. And when the opportunity made itself available, I jumped on it, and it was really wonderful. It was kind of like drinking from it's kind of like being really thirsty and then walking into an oasis, and you've got cool, refreshing water to drink from, because it was stuff that was really feeding me, and it was stuff that I hadn't been hearing. With all the personal development training that I've been through, and all of the what does the left hand do in marketing, what does the right hand do in marketing, and all of the mindset stuff and the personal development stuff, I just wasn't hearing much of what you were teaching, and it was really refreshing once I tapped in.
Tom, let me ask you a question, because, this is really good for, people from all walks of life to really understand, okay? Because as peak performers, as entrepreneurs, we go through our peaks and we go through our valleys. And what I always say to people is that the most amount of learning that you will ever have your whole life is actually in the valley. It's not when you're at the peak. So, tell us a little bit about that for you. I know that you come from multiple different market sectors. You've been a musician. You've been a consultant to corporations. You've been a peak performer in the networking field, but you really come from all different aspects. You're very well-rounded entrepreneur in the things that you do and the things that you get involved with. Software development, system applications, things to automate businesses. Tell us a little bit about some of those peaks and valleys that you've been through, and how now understanding how the subconscious mind is actually steering this, and how our human brains are actually programmed to self-destruct. Getting this newfound knowledge, what happened for you, and where were you at prior to going through the subconscious mind tapping?
You know, I've gotten a lot done in my life, and you know, all my experiences, everything that I've ever done, I've gotten it done by sheer drive, will, and resiliency. So I haven't always worked the smartest, but I've always been this guy that you just couldn't get to quit. There have been a couple times in my career where I've quit in the past, but that resiliency would only get me so far. And what I didn't realize, you know, going back years and years, was that, you know, they say if you're not failing, you're not trying, right? And so, man, I failed so many times. And, you know, the average person out there maybe is playing it safe and they don't have a lot of failures, but they sure don't take a lot of risks. So I was just a person that would fall on my face and get up and fall on my face and get up. And the highs were really, really high. Just like you said, I've seen 7 figures come in 5 months. Crazy, crazy. But at the same token, because I just hadn't tapped into this information, and because of some issues with my own worthiness, I always kind of sabotaged myself. And, you know, everyone in business will experience failure. Just because you've been successful once doesn't guarantee you're always going to be up on top, right? So we all do this. The question is, how far down the rabbit hole do you go when you dip? And, you know, my highs were incredibly high and my lows were incredibly low. I wouldn't just fail. I would fail and fall on my face and eat dirt, right? And so tapping into this information has really helped me get into, get some things in line, that just some bad self-image issues, worthiness issues, deservability issues, and realizing that it was this things that I wasn't even aware that I was. This is the thing, you talk about subconscious. It's a dialogue that's going on in you that you're not maybe even aware of, but it is actually orchestrating everything around you, and it's leading you. It's only being obedient to what you've been telling it to do subconsciously. And so getting that out of the way is the most important breakthrough that any person can have on planet Earth, because we're not just talking about success in business and finances. We're talking about personal breakthroughs that lead you to happiness, to where you wake up embracing the day instead of dreading the hours that are ahead. You wake up with passion and joy, and you wake up with just excitement to get up and live, when you start realizing that, you know, you really are worthy, that you deserve success, you deserve happiness, and when you start changing that negative loop in your head.
Fantastic. So let me ask you this. When you first heard about subconscious mind tapping and the whole concept, and you started hearing more about quantum physics and the wave particle theory and these two worlds that exist simultaneously, what was it that interested you the most when you first heard about this that made you say, you know what, I'm going through this, I'm taking action, and I'm doing this, and I'm going to do it right now? What made you get so driven to want to move forward to get to that breakthrough?
Well, to be honest with you, when I first heard of these things, I started doing my own research years ago, even before I met you, Darren. I was actually heavily skeptical when I first was introduced to the whole subject. But through research and through just tons of my own, just uncovering all kinds of videos on YouTube and just looking at science, proving the proving that we can speak to the protons, we can speak to the electrons, you know, proving that when we observe scientific tests, we actually alter the results just by the fact that we observe them. So once I started to come into this level of belief that this stuff is real, it was interesting how I started pulling people in like a tractor beam that were more up on the subject than me. And lo and behold, I met you, and we didn't know each other very well when we first got connected on Facebook, but you know, I'm going to see you in my news feed, and I would see the stuff that you were posting about particle wave theory and about speaking to the electrons and about the whole thing. And it was a little far-fetched for me a couple of years ago, but as I got to know you, and I came to trust you, as a person with integrity, as a person that is always open and honest and transparent, right? It's, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So me coming to an understanding through just seeing your walk, your professional walk, and just all the stuff that you're posting on Facebook, my belief that this guy is really 100% serious, and he cares about people, and he wants people to get breakthroughs, and I trust this guy. So it was that trust level that this guy's tapped into something. He's got success. He's affecting change in a lot of people's lives, not one or two or three, but tons and tons of people. And, he is just someone who makes me feel good when I'm around talking to him. I have got to know what he knows. And lo and behold, I was blessed enough to be able to plug in and get on some of those masterminds and get trained by you. And it's made all the difference, buddy.
Wow. Guys, you know what? Here's what I want to share with you. And, it doesn't matter if you work for corporate, it doesn't matter if you work an hourly job right now. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you have a restaurant or a nightclub, or you're in a situation maybe where you're a massage therapist or an acupuncture or a chiropractor or a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what path that you're on. It doesn't matter if you're into affiliate marketing, online marketing, network marketing. All of these principles that we talk about in subconscious mind tapping all help you to get to your personal breakthrough. So what I'm going to share with you is that we as human beings, we battle this thing called the human condition. And we cover this in detail in this training so that you can literally break through your self-sabotage. You can break through your limiting beliefs. You can overcome your fear. You can increase your confidence, your self-esteem, to the point where you literally feel unstoppable. Now, what would happen for you in your life if that started to happen internally? Okay, because we don't affect change, guys, just so you know, in the outer world. Okay, a lot of people think that it's this that's going to make the change. I will share with you, it's actually this and this. What's going on in your head and what's going on in your heart. And that's really the key. Once you learn these strategies, you can literally, it's like me handing you a key to unlock the matrix, to get access to this other area that people don't even realize that exists. So Tom, let me ask you this. You started going through the training, you started going through and tapping into, the vision boards and proclamations and things of that nature. What started happening in your life in all these different areas, with relationships, with health and fitness, with spiritual, emotional, with career, with opportunities that start coming onto your, falling onto your lap, with cash flow opportunities, things of that nature? What started happening with the vibration in your body, with your mindset? Tell me some of the things that started happening in your life.
Well, first off, it got worse before it got better for me. And the reason it got worse was because my ego was in the way. And I just fought the process. I just didn't want to surrender. I'm a control freak. I wrestle with being judgmental. Certain things have been easy for me to accomplish in my life. And because they were easy for me, it made me judgmental if it was difficult for others, right? So I just have had a lot of ego tics that I've had to work out. And it took me longer than I would like to admit to get to that surrender. And the interesting thing about life is until you surrender, if you're going through that process, life will bring you to the point of surrender. You just get to this place where you just can't keep airs anymore. You can't fight it anymore. So once I finally surrendered and started just really being, naked before the mirror, hypothetically, and being honest with myself about my shortcomings, my personality tics, the areas in my ego that needed to change, the things I needed to lay down. And I started getting in front of the mirror every day and telling myself that I love myself and that I forgive myself for all of the messes that I made in the past. I started to feel kind of set free. You kind of start to feel lighter. You feel like a weight is lifted. It's interesting because you can be in that feeling, in that zone for a while, and then all of a sudden the heaviness comes back on you. And that's why it's daily that we're doing this personal work. It's daily that we're feeding our mind. So we're always staving off that doomy, gloomy feeling, that self-sabotage stuff, those old patterns that we've been caught in our whole lives. They really do take the daily walk to reprogram the way you process information, the filter that things pass through when they hit your brain. Somebody can say you look good in those jeans, and a negative person can say, what, do I not usually look good, right? So it really depends on how you process things and the filter that you have. And I'll tell you, when you really surrender and you start doing the work and you start tapping in, you start to, like you said, you really start to feel invincible. You start to feel like, boy, anything is possible. And I've learned in my own career that can't really is just a belief. If you look at any of the greatest entrepreneurs, you look at a guy like Richard Branson, and you look at Richard Branson when he was starting out his record company, not his record company, but his mail order business for records, way back in the 60s. And if you said, well, one day you're gonna own an aerospace company, you're gonna shuttle people up into space, and you're gonna have a contract with NASA, and you're gonna have your own airline. Who would have thunk? People would be like, no way, there's no way you can do that. But this is the power of waking up every day inspired and being tapped into your inspiration, and then having that. It's almost like the how do I put it? It's almost like the fetters are off. There's nothing holding you back. When you speak something and you start to plan for something that you're passionate about, you've got no mental barriers keeping you from the believability that it's attainable. And when you start to get those barriers out of the way, here's the interesting thing. You feel like you're going forward towards those things that you want, but what you're really doing is pulling them in with your faith, with your belief, with your words, with your actions, with your attitudes, with how you're resonating, the frequency that you're putting out into the atoms, into the ether out there. You're actually calling all those things into your experience. And the neat thing about that is it happens easy. I can tell you about a breakthrough when I used to have back child support. It was a lot. It was $34,000. And for years, I thought, man, I'm never going to be able to pay this child support. I'm just never going to be able to pay it. It's an insurmountable amount of money to pay, the back child support. So I would pay my current payments, and then I would pay like $100 over and above to whittle down that $34,000 in arrears, which was obviously going to take forever. The interesting thing was when I finally decided, man, I'm going to pay off this back child support at any cost, whatever it takes. If I got to eat top ramen noodles 3 meals a day, because I couldn't renew my passport. That was the problem. Because of my arrears, I couldn't renew my passport, and my inability to renew my passport kept me from consulting gigs abroad, because I couldn't leave the country. So then I kind of felt like, wow, the state owns me. And that was not a fun feeling for me. So when I finally said, man, at all costs, this amount is going away. Don't you know? In 5 weeks, I had a $40,000 wire transfer from a business guy. I couldn't talk him out of sending the money. He was basically beating me over the head with $40,000. And I was able to pay off that child support arrears in full. I got a certified check, and I went down to the office in person, and I handed it to my caseworker. And you talk about a feeling of satisfaction. You talk about tapping into passion and excitement and knowing, man, I now can get my passport and travel around the world because I got the stinking thinking out of the brain, and I got the breakthrough. And it all started with a choice and belief. Wow. Powerful stuff.
Wow. So let me ask you this, because I know that you have done like a lot of personal development. I'm talking about books, trainings, seminars, audios. You were in what I call the elite zone, Tom, because you basically are one of those people that will go to the end of the earth for your. How did the ease of going through subconscious mind tapping compared to some of the other trainings that you've gone through in the past? Was it easy to take in the message and digest for you and understand it and apply it into your life?
It was pretty easy because, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so you've got to have small digestible bits of information that can nourish you, that you can actually digest. And that, if you try to give a 2-year-old a 16-ounce steak, they just can't eat it. So you've got to start with information that you can process. Here's the good news is this isn't some $10,000 for the weekend course where you're doing 8 or 10 hours of building funnels and mechanics of this is a personal thing. This is something where you can get your mind right. You can revert back to the information as often as you need. And it's if you want to affect great change, you start by making small tweaks. If you make massive tweaks, if you try to make drastic changes in your life immediately, you'll likely not be able to keep them going. And then you'll actually start beating yourself up when you let yourself down. So you just make manageable, small baby steps, just like the movie What About Bob, right? You just take those baby steps, and lo and behold, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. You turn around, you look back, you don't even recognize the person that you've become. And, the time is going by anyway. So why wouldn't we all want to be on this journey of becoming the best human beings we possibly can be and unwiring all of that negative stuff that got jumbled in our life through letdowns and through whatever traumatic things have happened to us, to where we can just be the best people that we can be, and more than that, where we can inspire other people to rise up.
So let me ask you this, Tom. When you went to start applying the information from subconscious mind tapping, what are some of the areas of your life that started to change? And did it work fast? Did it work slow? Was it gradual? What happened in some of the areas of, relationships, health, emotional, career, travel, family? What were some of the things that happened for you when you went through this training?
Well, I think it's going to be different for everybody, but my experience, it was kind of a slow and steady for me. I think some people will get breakthroughs very quickly. Other people, until they surrender to their ego, they might get no breakthroughs until they really finally lay it down and get real with themselves. For me, one of the things that I experienced right away was I had lost a lot of weight, but then I had kind of hit a plateau. And I had been at that plateau for a couple of years. I kind of I lost a very large amount of weight, and then I just hit the wall. And apparently I just wasn't dealing with, I wasn't ready to take the steps to get past that plateau that I had hit. So I would be at this kind of plateau with my weight, and then I might even gain 5 or 10 pounds, and then I would get back down to that plateau, but I never got lower. And once I tapped into this, life is an exercise in loving yourself and forgiving yourself and giving yourself the lateral and the room to make mistakes. And it's okay to make mistakes. And when I started saying, Tom, you let yourself go, it's okay. You've got to now start doing the things that you haven't been doing that are going to get you past that plateau. Man, I started walking. I attracted someone into my life that helped me to start to eat really healthy and helped me get educated on eating better, which is another act of loving yourself, right? How many times have we just ordered something toxic or bought something toxic, and the whole time we're eating it, we know we're hurting ourselves. But there's a reason why we're choosing to do something that's not beneficial, right? So I started really coming into this place of self-love in a positive way of just really embracing, seeing the value that I have to bring to humanity, seeing the contribution that I can make, to the people in my lives, and seeing that, man, I have value. I'm a person that is a treasure, just like we all are. Not that I'm patting myself on the shoulder. We're all a treasure. We all have unique skills and gifts. Well, don't you know, I started losing weight. I finally started getting past that plateau. I'm still a work in progress. I still have some weight to lose, but I probably lost another 25 pounds since I started getting this breakthrough. My relationships have been better. I've been far less judgmental. I've been more forgiving, more compassionate to other human beings. And I've, I've actually seen people being attracted into my life that I would have liked to attract years ago, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't vibrating at the frequency that was, they weren't smelling what I was stepping in years ago. But these days, people are just, opportunities are coming my way, and it's a beautiful thing. When you give yourself permission to be successful, it's wild what you'll attract into your reality.
Wow. So, Tom, let me ask you this. What kind of a person would you recommend that would go through this training?
Someone with a pulse. Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it, buddy. Everybody needs it. But the kind of a person that would be attracted to this training is somebody who wants to affect change in their life. You become who you hang around. You become who you hang around. So you want to hang around with people that are striving for the things and going for the things that you want to go for, or that have already attained them. If you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. You want to hang out with people at a high level that, are going to cause you to rise up. So this training is going to be for anybody who wants to get a personal breakthrough. Anybody who wants to, overcome all of the mental obstacles. It's almost like so many of us, and I see this all the time, very high level people with great talent, great communication skills, people that from the outside look so capable, but they're in a mental prison. They're hard on themselves. They beat themselves up. They have so much negative self-talk. They haven't learned to bridle their tongue, and they speak curses over themselves. They complain, they whine, they play victim. So anybody who wants to clean all of that mess up and put it behind you for once and for all, and give yourself permission to be happy, give yourself permission to be successful, and draw love into your life, draw relationships into your life that have substance, relationships that are fulfilling, relationships that are healthy, where you're giving into the relationship, but you're also pulling from the relationship. That person is investing in you. Anyone who wants to clean up the mess and give themselves permission to be successful, this is for them.
Fantastic. Guys, you've got Darren Little here with the Success Vortex. This has been a real treat to meet with Tom Cellie. Once again, Tom Cellie is a 7-figure income earner. Guys, I don't care where you're at on your life path. It doesn't matter. What the important part is, do you want to make a change? Do you want to be the best version of you? Okay, that's the question that you got to ask yourself. Because we're not talking about a second mortgage here on a home, okay? We're talking about a little tiny amount of money that can totally transform every single area of your life. Here's what I'm going to share with you. If this training can help a person go from completely homeless to a $20,000 month in 6 months, if it can take a 7-figure income earner to the next level of his success, my question to you is, what can it do for you? So click the link below. If you're seeing this on a page, take action, throw your hat over the wall, get subconscious mind tapping, go through the training, and change your life forever. So you've got Darren Little here with the Success Vortex. I look forward to meeting you in person one day, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Bye for now.